Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome one, welcome all to SimSpeed TV this Tuesday night. Round 2 of the 9th season of the AOG Porsche Cup is live here at the Circuito de Navarra. What a fantastic circuit this is, and likely to be a rain-affected round as well. This is going to be a very interesting night of racing in Spain, and we are proud to present it here live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Kick with myself, Reese Gardner. Brady Baldwin is alongside me in the comms box here, taking you through tonight's action with Jay Kennedy behind the scenes, pressing all the buttons. Well, Brady, Circuito de Navarra, it's a track that we haven't seen much racing at so far on SimSpeed, but when we have raced here, it has been spectacular. It's a challenging little circuit.
Yeah, it sure is, Reese. It's good to be back as well, commentating with you. And one of the circuits that were released on the last build for iRacing a couple months ago, and personally I haven't turned a lap here, but everything that I've seen so far of it has been positive. You can see by the track map, it is a very, very technical circuit. 15 corners clockwise direction, just under 4 kilometers, 3.9 to be exact. A very long run down the front straight into a bit of an awkward braking zone into turn 1 and 2. Very sharp hairpin at turn 3, a very technical middle sector. I think it'll provide some very good racing in these Porsche Cup cars tonight, Reese.
Yeah, definitely it will. It's a challenging circuit with plenty of overtaking opportunities, hard braking into turn 3 to start the lap. We also have overtaking opportunities at turn 6, turn 8, turn 9, pretty much every single turn after that as well. The entire final sector of this circuit, I've driven it in the HPD, and it drives kind of like a street circuit, if I may opine such. It's a lot of stop-start in the second half of the lap, but the turn 5 and 6 combo, very fast and flowing. We're going to be seeing more than a few drivers lose it into the tarmac runoff there.
Yeah, 100%, especially with cold tyres that these cars experience as well. Turn 5, 6, that's complex, even through 7 as well. Could be pretty tricky in the first couple laps of this race, and especially we're predicted to potentially have some wet weather for race number 2 later on. So they'll add even more spice to what is going to happen tonight. Group qualifying happening right at this moment. The AM class have already set their qualifying laps. Pro AM just finishing up now. Pro yet to come. 13 laps for race number 1. The grid is set by our qualifying order. Then race 2 later on, 26 laps, so double the distance with a compulsory pit stop in there as well. And potentially could be changing from wet to dry tyres depending how much rain we get. So a lot to play out, race, as we're just ticking now into the final part of Pro Am qualifying. At the moment is Jacob Lucas in the 067, currently fastest with the 141.9. A little bit of a gap back to Ryan Jones in second. Joshua Van Treek reigning out the top 3 there. Simon Mazzomo, fair way down the order. He was our Pro-Am winner last time out for round number 1. Currently P9 at the moment.
Yeah, Mazzomo not having the best of times here around the Circuito de Navarra, finishing up his final lap here, or I think this might be an in lap, not too sure, because the checkered flag has been has been thrown for Q2, and it looks like the green flag has been thrown for Q3. The pro drivers are now coming out onto the circuit, and what a big class this is. Oh lordy, we have got plenty of drivers, very talented drivers, looking to stake their claim for the front row of the grid.
Yeah, just looking through this field, obviously we commentated this series together last time out, Reece, for season number 8. There's a lot of returning drivers in the field. Andrew Dyson, Dylan Shepherd, Matthew Bowler, our round 1 winner, but got guys like Robbie Gibbs in the field, Job Stewart's in the field, Tyson Broad, Chris Island. There's a lot of heavy, stout and fast drivers in the session. Hayden Veld on screen as well for ERT, so a lot to play out. And Hayden, interestingly enough, is on wet. Is that intentional? Or maybe it's Hayden Veld, so anything's quite possible.
Yeah, well, there's no rain showing up on the radar at the moment, but the track did start wet in qualifying, and it's been drying out ever since, so you never know. Maybe Hayden is going to try and find some extra grip offline, or it could just be a mistake. We're honestly not too sure at the moment, but if it is indeed an error, he'll soon realize it and bring it back into the pits. Matt Bowler, the winner of the pro class in round 1, making his way through, and I tell you what, he is certainly one of the form drivers in the Porsche in the Oz NZ Sim Sphere, and he's going to be one of the first drivers to start a hot lap here in the pro session. Let's go with him through this lap of the Circuito de Navarra. Got to be careful out of the final corner. It's a hairpin to really start your lap, and then the long start-finish straight. Opportunity for a slipstream as you start rising in elevation, almost flat out through turn 1, and then immediately on the brakes through turn 2. Got to nail the apex here and swing it out wide for the run into turn 3. Very tight corner, this one of the slowest on the circuit, and then you have to negotiate a flat-out left-hand bend with a few bumps in the middle. That's going to throw a lot of drivers off. Coming then into turn 5, nail the apex, high speed entry, but you got to slow down and turn at the same time once again for turn 6, winding on all the lock as you come around the flowing turn 7 up to turn 8. Another slow corner. There'll be a lot of opportunities for passing here. You can maximize the exit by running all the way across that exit curb, but Bowler is being conservative on this lap. Short straight on the way up to turn 9, and this, Brady, is where the lap gets really slow.
Yeah, it certainly does. Now into turn 9, then a flowing right-hander through turn number 10, and then another 90-degree corner, turn 11, then a short little straight to another 90-degree left-hander, turn number 12, Bowler. Very smooth, clean lap so far. Another run to a sharp right-hander this time, turn number 13, gets it stopped right on the apex. Another short little run to turn number 14. A little bit more flowing this corner. Matthew Bowler about 180 kilometers an hour through the left-hander, coming up to an uphill turn number 15. Very awkward apex there at turn number 15 onto the straight. Matthew Bowler, he is chasing a 1:41.9 set by Jacob Lucas, and he will go as he crosses the finish line, a 41.8, provisionally fastest so far.
Good job there from Bowler. The times are going to start flowing in here. Andrew Dyson goes faster, takes just about over a tenth out of Bowler's time. Corey Lazarus up to P3. Job Stewart, reigning champion from last season, is going to get another lap on the board. He's here from round 2 onwards, as there's been a big problem there. Hayden Veld involved in a crash at the final corner. I wasn't able to catch who the other car was in that situation, but Thomas Hin's going to be one of the last of the group to set a banker here. And it's not going to be a particularly fast lap, 1:45.5, and I don't think that even counted. He got an off-track on that lap. So off-track's very easy to do around Navarra. Hayden Veld here. And it looks like one of the dynamic SimSport cars going wide there to let him go, but they came together on the exit. That's a really awkward way to come together.
Yeah, very awkward. It looks like the dynamic car was trying to let him go, and then sort of a bit of confusion between both the cars. So it looks like they'll both continue on for the session, which only 7 minutes remaining, just over 7 minutes remaining in the session. Andrew Dyson, after all the first runs, is the fastest so far, a 41.6, so nearly 10th and a half over Matthew Bowler. Corey Lazarus in P3, and still Lucas, Jones, Van Treek from Pro Am, 4, 5, and 6. So very impressive first laps for them. Job Stewart in 7th. He's still got a lot of time to make up. Tyson Broad in P8 as well. So a few of these guys still a lot of time to find. And a lot of guys actually haven't set a lap yet. Matthew Boyle, Dylan Shepherd, Thomas Hins, all haven't set a lap. So there's still a lot more to come as Dyson goes even faster on his second lap, a 41.3. Lazarus to P2. Bowler remains P3. All these times are dropping now, Reese.
Well, they absolutely are. Now the top 5 are all pros as Matthew Boylett puts in a 144.41.7. Daniel Benefield for 9.5 Sim Sports making his way across the line now. He'll be hoping for a little bit extra here. It's a 143.6. It's not going to be an improvement for Benefield that time around. First real lap for Thomas Hins as Adam Hughes goes up to 4th overall. 42.7 for Thomas Hins. Only 16th spot. He'll be wanting a bit more pace out of that.
Yeah, certainly Hins will be chasing a little bit more time than what he has right now. Will guys go on a third push-up here, or are they going to pit after their second lap? We'll have to wait and see. I'm assuming probably only get 2 laps maximum for a good lap on this tyre. So if you guys have already pitted early, they've aborted their second lap and will currently be on out laps. And we've had already one impedance call from race control. No further action, though, between 066 and 53. So I assume that was Hayden Valve involved there on the exit of the last corner.
Yeah, Stuart Ellis was the dynamic car that was involved in that incident. So we'll keep an eye here on Dyson as he makes his way into the pits. The drivers are going to have to complete a mandatory pit stop in race 2 tonight, and pit entry at Navarra, incredibly awkward, having to negotiate a hairpin on the way in. Let's see then if Corey Lazarus can improve here on yet another lap. Matt Bowler taking back provisional pole by a 10th from Andrew Dyson as Corey Lazarus goes to a 41.4, and that's mere hundredths off what he set before. Dylan Shepherd improves to 4th, puts Hughes down to 5th, and they both get put down a spot as Job Stewart goes to P2. Some big laps coming in from Ireland, Sproul, and Harrison Lillis in the number 50 going to 14th overall. We're still waiting on a real time here from Harry Lawrence. So we'll see now if Lawrence will be able to get a good time on the board versus everyone else. A 42.3, though, it's not going to be quite what he wanted. In 15th place for the number 15. Still a solid banker lap, and they still have 4 minutes left to get their times on the board. Matt Bowler, meanwhile, back out on track and having started another lap, making his way through turn 10 now at the moment. And truly supreme performance here from the number 12, but he's going to have one heck of a race with Job Stewart. They're only separated by a mere hundredth of a second, even less than that, 9 thousandths. Bowler will likely be wanting to go for at least a 41.1 to try and get some better times on the board. Bowler's fastest time in practice was a 41.0, so that says something about the potential here for the driver of Matthew Bowler here. Let's go then across the line to start another lap. Matt Bowler, he's got so much potential here to improve on this time. Flat out through the first turn, hard on the brakes. Improvement for Lazarus behind, meanwhile, gets up into 3rd place. Harrison Lillis is trying to improve as well for Drop Bear Motorsport as Stewart takes provisional pole back into the 1 minute 40s. My goodness, what a time that is from Job Stewart. I absolutely adore seeing the amount the drivers are pushing out there, and the long runs are certainly working their way into favour. Let's see if Benefield can make any improvements on his 43.1. That is a 3/10 or so improvement, and that will put him up to 22nd place. Harry Lawrence gets into the 41s as well. 9th place so far for the number 15. Ben Peterson, meanwhile, up into 7th spot. Another returning competitor from last season, with Tyson Broad coming across the line to set a 42.3, takes a 10th out of his time. That will result in 1 overall position over Josh Van Treek. Here comes Stuart Ellis, meanwhile, the car that was involved with Hayden Veld at the final corner in that incident we caught earlier. And his first time on the board will be a 45.2. And it looks like that was an outlap for him. So we'll see what he can do in these final 2 minutes. Remember, it is a hard cut to the end of qualifying. This is a multi-race server. So once the clock hits 0, that's it. Everyone's kicked back to the pits. Adam Hughes will make his way through. Matt Bowler, it looks like, is done. He won't be setting any more laps, but he'll be hoping that that front row start is secure, as Hayden Veld now still hasn't set a representative time in qualifying, and this will be one of his last opportunities to do so. He is way off the pace, though, and he won't have time to get another lap on the board. Stewart, meanwhile, across the line, improves yet again, takes 600ths of a second out of his time there. Good stuff. Robbie Gibbs improving to 11th place, and Sam Sproul was not able to improve on his time. Here comes Dyson then to the line, currently looking at a second row start, Brady. Let's see if he can improve. 41.3 to beat, and it is not going to be anywhere near that.
No, just a little bit off there. Sorry, Reese, did you there? The internet dropped out for me, which is unfortunate, but we are back now. Ben Peterson coming to set another lap. He improves by 100th of a second, but no positional gain. Job Stewart, look at that margin race. I've just come back and Job's put nearly half a second on him. That's crazy.
Yeah, ridiculous time from Job Stewart. He pulled out a magnificent qualifying lap. Of course, Stewart is well familiar with these cars, racing in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup and being one of the top competitors in that series, with Stuart Ellis across the line to set a time there. 1:41.8 finally gets a time on the board, and it's good enough for 13th.
Yeah, nice up there for Stuart Ellis to move up the field. Adam Hughes, this will be the last lap to be completed. Remember, it's a hard cutoff at 0 for this session, and he improves 10th and a half. Does he jump up a position, Adam Hughes? He will not. He'll stay position number jumps up to position number 6. So nice up there for Adam Hughes.
Yep, very nice lap indeed, and that is qualifying completed. Wow, what a session that was. Really hyped to be back for AOG Porsche Cup. I wasn't here for round 1, and it was a real shame, but thankfully, I'm here for the rest of the season to bring you the grid. Job Stewart and Matt Bowler are your front row, and what a front row that is. Moving back to row 2, Corey Lazarus in the 404 ahead of Andrew Dyson. And then we get to Dylan Shepherd rounding out the top 5 alongside his teammate at OPR, Adam Hughes. In 7th spot, Ben Peterson for Full Send starts alongside Sam Sproul, the 3rd OPR car in the field. Matthew Boylett, the first of the dynamic sim sport cars here, rounding out the top 10 alongside Harry Lawrence.
Number 11 will be Robbie Gibbs alongside him. DPR Racing's Chris Island. Stuart Ellis and Jacob Lucas will share row number 7. Ryan Jones and Tyson Broad, they will share row number 8. Thomas Hins and Harrison Lillis will share row number 9. Joshua Van Treek and Jake Santalucia will start 19th and 20th.
In 21st, it's the number 19 of Dwayne Burns for Cobalt Racing. Ben Jeffrey starts alongside him in the AM class. Daniel Benefield, uncharacteristic qualifying session for him, all the way down in 23rd alongside Adam Jepson. And then we get to Dean Jacobson and Simon Mazzomo, another driver who has struggled so far tonight. Moving back to 27th and 28th, it's Dylan Gray and Brody Shepherd. Lot of potential for both of those drivers, with Greg Patrick and Alan Dawson rounding out the top 30. Dan Mirko was the last driver to set a time in qualifying. Hayden Veld was not able to get a representative lap in, and Jet Murray and Nick Carroll were not able to set laps in qualifying at all. They didn't take part in the session. Isaac Edwards and Dan Yeaman are in race control and looking for some good runnings here as we check out the conditions. It is a warm track here for race 1, Brady.
Yeah, 43 degrees, so quite up there. But remember, we are in Spain, and I think it's always hot in Spain, so don't expect any good conditions unless we do have some unseasonal rain later on, which is predicted. So, but for race number 1 here, 13-lap sprint, we should remain dry all the way through and be a nice long run into turn number 1 and 2 here between Stewart and Bowler, our round 1 winner, off position number 2, and our reigning champion off pole position. Remember, our format for tonight, 13 laps here for race number 1, and then race number 2 is 26 laps. And remember, we also have a top 12 invert for race number 2. So that'll be very interesting as well.
Oh, it certainly will. This is a very fun night of racing ahead of us here in the AOG Porsche Cup. But who will make it past the first lap? So many heavy braking zones, so much potential for incidents. There are clouds on the horizon, as you can see. They may or may not pass over the circuit. Let's get going then, as the revs will rise here on the grid. Grid time is over. It is race time here. 13 laps on the clock. AOG Porsche Cup round 2 is go. And that is a perfect start from Job Stewart and Matthew Bowler. Immediately moving to the inside is Corey Lazarus to defend from Andrew Dyson. And oh, look at that. Bowler and Stewart already weaving around each other here at the front of the field as they come to turn 3. Who will give the space? Who will end up off the track? Goodness me, it is a gaggle of cars making their way through the hairpin.
Yeah, Job Stewart's probably not minding this because Dyson, big slide from Andrew Dyson as well. Lazarus and Dylan Shepherd, both the OPR cars will sneak through. And there's a spin point in Ben Peterson. He's going to go off the circuit. He's going to lose a numerous amount of spots. But that big slide from Dyson checked everyone else up. And especially through this middle part of the lap, first few laps, it's going to be nice and tight, and lots going to be happening here. And we see down the inside Robbie Gibbs and Matthew Bowler battling for position as well, as Job Stewart's already pulled 0.6 of a second lead. There's a drop bear car around in the background. Is that Tyson Broad? It looks like it is.
Yeah, it is. Also seeing that Dylan Gray and Nick Carroll were trading places further down the circuit as well. Man, it is a very tight field, isn't it? No one can find any space to really maximize their pace at the moment, except for our leader, Job Stewart, who's already gotten the gap for the lead up to 0.8 of a second. It's been a perfect start for the reigning champion.
Looks like Dan Mirko as well in the background for Race on Odds. He's had a spin in the background. Adam Jepson, he's been in the wars lap number 1 as well. So plenty going on in the middle to the back of the field. But like you said, Job Stewart, he's checking out already. Matthew Bowler, he's got a nice little gap over Corey Lazarus as well. That little slide again from Dyson checked a few guys up, and that allowed Lazarus and Dylan Shepherd through. So the OPR cars running 3 and 4, but Dyson currently position number 5. He's going to try and hunt him down.
Yep, Dyson obviously wanting to grab that position back from Dylan Shepherd. Gibbs with one of the biggest gains on the first lap there, up from 11th to 6th. He really took advantage of all of the chaos that was happening. And speaking of chaos, oh my lord, oh dear, around one car almost goes there. Not even sure who we're looking at the moment. So many cars on screen at the moment, and Peterson's troubles have gotten even worse. One of the Riot sim racing cars making contact with him in turn 3.
Yeah, that's unlucky for Ben Peterson. Had that moment on lap number 1. It looks like minor contact there with Van Treek coming to the run to turn number 3, and it's sent him spun around. So it's unlucky for him. And a bit up further, it was actually Ryan Jones and Sam Sproul as well. But this is back from lap number 1. Ben Peterson, look at that. It's a 5 wide race. 5 wide. There's another car spun on the track, stopped in the middle of the circuit. There's just too much going on, Reese. Can't keep up.
Yeah, way too much going on. One car there was having technical problems coming into the first turn as well. And this is a move further up. That is an incredible attempt at a pass there from Ben Peterson, but it did not work out. So the Riot car that got involved did not actually start the contact there. It was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's a big shame there for all drivers involved. But we are back live at the end of lap 2. Job Stewart continuing to jet away. 0.8 of a second still the gap, but Corey Lazarus, he's going to try and get past Matthew Bowler here in the first couple of turns as he gets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I remember Lazarus from season number 8 was one of the prominent figures in the series. Always had a really good pace, but often or not, he just didn't quite have enough luck to put a whole championship together. But Corey Lazarus looking really fast at the moment. This is Daniel Benefield on our Bowler Media replay with the number 15, trying to pick up who that is. That's Harry Lawrence. And unfortunately, one of the dynamic cars just got into Daniel Benefield there. A few cars, Joshua Van Treek and Broad trying to take evasive action, but there might be a penalty coming the way of the dynamic sim sports driver that was involved in that one.
Yeah, that's a shame there. Benefield and the entire 9-5 crew seem to be struggling at the moment. They're not able to break further into the top 20 than they currently are. Mazomo currently sits in 18th spot. He's just made the move on Brody Shepherd, but this is the battle further back here, battling for the top 10 and top 11. Harrison Lillis side by side with Sam Sproul. Got Stuart Ellis there, and Ellis is going to have to check up. Sam Sproul getting tapped around there, coming through the very slow latter section of the circuit. He'll get back going, but unfortunately, that's going to be a couple of dings and dents in the car that he won't want. Oh no, who's gone off there? That's Brody Shepherd. Brody Shepherd and Daniel Benefield also losing a few positions as well. Something going very wrong there for Shepherd, who it looks like has disappeared off the circuit momentarily.
Yeah, there's a few guys having issues early on in this race as they're still battling on. Brady Shepherd comes back on at the back of the field and they're still squabbling. But look at Corey Lazarus once again trying to stay on the back of round one winner Matthew Bowler at Algarve 2 weeks ago. And Job Stewart still maintaining that lead about 1.2 seconds, but really looks like the battle is on for P number 2 right now between Lazarus and also Matthew Bowler. Dylan Shepherd hanging around in P4, Dyson P5, then quite a bit of a gap back to Boylett, Hughes, Gibbs, the next battle pack, 6th through to 8th, and one race control incident already through. Racing incident, it was a bit of netcode contact with 3 cars involved there at lap 3, turn 1, so probably not too surprising because there's a lot of cars going each which way, so not surprising there's a little bit of netcode involved.
Yeah, Greg Patrick, meanwhile, is seeing a potential pass back there from Dan Mirko, who's been struggling on the first lap there. Greg, we've seen him racing in VR before, but apparently decided to go back to monitors for this season of AOG Porsche Cup, fighting hard with the race on Oscar. And we're hearing that Corey Lazarus had a bit of an off. He is back down to 5th spot now, so the battle for second is now all for naught. Bowler with a solid 1.5 second gap over Dylan Shepherd.
Yeah, just picked it up on my end race. Lazarus just lost it on the exit of, I believe it was turn number 9, the right-hander. Just lost in the rear on the exit of the corner and had a big slide. We'll try and pick it up on the replay. So this is the run from 8 through to 9. Short little back straight in behind Matthew Bowler. We'll see it on the exit. I think he just gets on the gas a little bit too early. Missed the apex a little bit. Gas up a little bit. Good save, though, but he's dropped back 2 spots now behind Andrew Dyson, so they'll promote his teammate Dylan Shepherd to position number 3, and now Matthew Bowler has really no pressure behind him. He can try and focus on catching Job Stewart, but he's got a 1.9 second lead at the moment. Thomas Hinds in the background there. He's battling Ryan Jones just inside the top 10, 2 stalwarts of sim racing here in Australia. They're battling, and Thomas Hinds recently got that position as well. So Hindsy up to P9. He's up already 8 spots.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Thomas Hinds doing very well at the moment to work his way up through the field, and Harrison Lillis, another driver who's gained a ton of places, up 7 spots. Ryan Jones up 6 places at the moment. There was so much carnage in the midfield on that first lap that we've seen a few drivers really benefit. Drivers who have lost out include Sam Sproul, started 8th, now 14th, and Ben Peterson, who is struggling to break further into the top 25 after starting in 7th. That's how things are standing at the moment in AOG Porsche Cup round 2. And we're seeing the clouds move across the circuit here as that's Gibbs that's gone off there. He resumes running in 10th place, but that's going to be a big blow for the number 2.
He did it all on his own as well, Reese. I'm trying to pick up potentially the corner number. It's turn 12 in the exit. Just got in sideways on the entry and then just couldn't save it on the exit. So yeah, very unlucky there for Robbie Gibbs. He was in a decent position there and he's lost, I believe, 2 spots from that. So pick it up again on our Bowler Media replay. So this run 11 to turn 12, and he's pretty much on the slide the entire corner. Unfortunately, cannot save it. Keeps it out of the wall. Quick flick spin. Looks like he did lose those 2 spots to Jones and Hinds, and he'll keep it going once again.
Yeah, what I'm seeing when it comes to spins here is it looks like Nick Carroll making his way through the lane at the moment. Driver working his way out there, the 067. That's Jacob Lucas that's just gone out of the pits there, serving a drive-through penalty. It was for contact with the number 34 of Daniel Benefield, and Benefield himself has gotten a license point penalty from race control, 5 points for not holding the brakes when he spun at turn 8 on lap 2. And Nick Carroll, he went into the pits for a drive-through penalty, but it wasn't from race control. It was from iRacing. He exceeded the incident limit. He got 22 incidents in 5 laps. That just goes to show not just how brutal the racing has been, but how brutal the incidents on this track are.
I don't know if that's impressive in a good or bad way, Reese. That's 22 in 5 laps, and I mean, he might have had a few bumps along the way to get those 4 X's, but maybe just the off tracks here are really, really brutal. So, might see that other guys might have a few drive-throughs in this race. Joshua Van Treek have a really good battle on screen here with Daniel Benefield, Hayden Veld in behind those guys as well. So, lots of battling all throughout the field here, Reese.
Yeah, they've been side by side for about half a lap here as Hayden Veld almost cleans them up, goes a little deep in the final corner, and that is going to allow Jake Santalucia right on by. Still side by side between Van Treek and Benefield. They're competing in 2 separate classes, but the classes are all racing for the same championship points. Van Treek is going to find this very difficult here as Benefield blends back onto the racing line through turn 2. Van Treek will defend from Santalucia as it's side by side between Ben Peterson and Hayden Veld there. Peterson just getting the position there. Another spot up there for Ben. Back up to 22nd after spinning on the first lap.
Yeah, Hayden Veld as well. He started 32nd right down the back of the field up to 23rd, so he's up 9 spots in the field. Matthew Boylett now under pressure from Adam Hughes. Adam Hughes, a new name for me in the commentary world. Name on Blackout OPR, a very prominent team in the Porsche Cup and endurance racing. So good to see some new faces in this series, and he's got quite a turn of pace as well. Currently P7 at the moment. Matthew Boyle, one of the impressive drivers from season number 8 for me, and he's applying a lot of pressure. This position number 6 on the road, trying to catch the other OPR car of Corey Lazarus, still in P5. Remember that mistake from Lazarus earlier? He's still not been able to get past Andrew Dyson, so is potentially this track a little bit more difficult to overtake than what we might have first thought, Reese?
Yeah, well, I did a albeit very small league race in the HPD around here about say a month and a half, and that's what we did find, is that it was a lot harder to pass at this circuit than it initially seems. There's a lot of very tight corners here and heavy braking zones, but it's a question of getting close enough to the driver in front, particularly through the final section of the lap as the number 23 of Chris Ireland goes wide and lets Sam Sproul through up into 12th, which incidentally is pole for race 2. That's one way you can make passes around here. Rely on your rival making a mistake.
Yeah, certainly, and I completely forgot about this battle for position number 12. Very important. Whoever finishes in P12 will start on the pole for race number 2. So Samuel Sproul has that at the moment, but Christopher Island, Stuart Ellis, Harry Lawrence. Oh, Harry Lawrence! Gets the back of Stuart Ellis. Commentators curse there on Stuart Ellis. Fortunately for Dynamic Sim Sport, he'll get the car rotated, but I think Harry Lawrence, he is slowing down to redress that, I think, Harry Lawrence. So, smart move, probably avoid a drive-through penalty, maybe just a little bit of a license point penalty on his name if he does redress that position. But it's unlucky because those guys were right in contention for that 12th spot, and now it's really down to 3 cars. Samuel Sproul, Chris Island, and now Tyson Broad is position number 14. So looks like that battle for 12th down to 3.
Yeah, indeed it is. Sproul still holds on to that position as we are about to enter the final 5 laps of the race. Back up to the number 22 of Adam Hughes, chasing down Matthew Boylett for 6th place. And we shall see if they get this done on the way into the first turn here. Hughes pulls out. Boylett has to go wide, and there is the move. Will he be able to come back, though? Will Matthew Boylett? Not quite. The run between the corners just too short, and Hughes will put down the power nicely to get that move done.
Yeah, nice move there from Adam Hughes to get that position. Looks like he's had a lot of pace and finally got the move done there for position number 6. Very good, and up ahead as well, his teammate, Corey Lazarus looks like he's pressuring Andrew Dyson. He's closed the gap just a little bit over the last lap, it feels like. It looks like Dylan Shepherd as well as closing just a little bit on Matthew Bowler. Looks like those second through to fifth cars, all very similar pace. Corey Lazarus is actually the fastest out of all of them, except for the leader, Job Stewart. He's lapping 1 minute 41.3s. Next fastest I can see is a 41.4 for Lazarus. Everyone else in the 6s and 7s. So quite a big turn of pace for Job Stewart now in front, doing quite comfortably 3 seconds. As there's more battling down in the pack. Joshua Van Treek, he's involved with Santa Lucia and also Benefield. Stuart Ellis, no matter where you look, race, there's always something happening. Van Treek will now look down the inside of Santa Lucia for position number 20. Won't get it done. Peterson and Haydenfeld right there.
Yeah, Van Treek, I think, maybe went for that move a little too early as, oh my lord, up the inside goes Ben Peterson, shoves, elbows, shoulders Van Treek out of the way, and Veld is going to take advantage as well. Across the curb he goes. The tyres are now well up to temperature, being 10 laps into this race. So now the drivers are really starting to get the elbows out. It was a good move there from Peterson. Took advantage of Van Treek, really compromising himself in the end. Meanwhile, Dyson and Lazarus. This is the battle for fourth. Lazarus trying to get that podium position back. He doesn't have much time to do it. Best he can hope for is a top 4 at this stage, it seems.
I'm just having a look at Ben Peterson's car. On the rear bumper, it says Full Send Motorsports, and that's quite ironic. That move he just put on full position. He's actually going for another move on Santa Lucia. But look at this battle between Gibbs, Jones, and Thomas Higgins just inside the back half of the top 10. Robbie Gibbs on the recovery after that little spin that he had was behind Higgins and Jones. Now is in front of him. Oh, Benefield once again in the wars.
Yeah, made contact with Stuart Ellis, and it looked like a bit of an optimistic move at the first turn there for Daniel Benefield. Got spun around for his troubles. We're going to get another view of it here. It was an aggressive move up the inside, and it looked pretty good from what I could see. Unfortunately, as soon as he got alongside, Ellis had already committed to the corner, and he could have straightened out the steering and let Benefield through, but it's all she wrote there, thanks to Bowler Media.
Yeah, unfortunately, just an awkward contact there, especially the run into 3. You got, 3 apexes, essentially 1, 2, and 3, and there's a big slide there. Was that the 160? Yes, it is the 160.
150 Ben
sorry.
Jeffrey.
I need to put my glasses on, Reese. I can't see. The 150 of Ben Jeffrey was a big slide. We've seen a few guys do that tonight, just lose the rear end, potentially due to the hot track temps. It has dropped down to 36 since the start of the race, so 7 degrees since the start, and I don't think it's affecting Job Stewart, though. Nearly 4-second lead down front.
Yep, absolutely. As we enter the last 2 laps here, last 3 laps, sorry. Yeah, it's something that I've noticed, especially early on. There were drivers who were running a little bit too deep into corners and losing the rear end. I do think that the track temp had a bit to do with that, as drive-through for the incident limit being reached for Stuart Ellis. That contact with Benefield obviously put him over that threshold. So now he's going to come out in position 30, and, well, Jay Kennedy is letting us know behind the scenes that there's quite a few drivers in the field who are in danger of exceeding the incident limit, so they have to keep it clean for these last 2 laps.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't opened any extra software to see who might be close, but we'll see at the end of the race. Reason might be something we can talk about post-race. We did just get told only one driver is on 0 incident limits, and I want to take a guess. It might be Job Stewart because he's really had no pressure all race long, but we'll have to wait and see post-race as he's coming up to the final complex of the last corner. He's got 2 laps to go, and apparently it's not Job Stewart, so it'll be a big guessing game until the last lap race.
Oh, it certainly will. Gibbs makes up another position there, gets back past Ryan Jones, who I think was trying to come back at him there. Thomas Higgins suffering some technical problems just up ahead, but 8th place is back in touch here for Robert Gibbs. It's been a difficult race for him for sure. Sam Sproul still holding on to P12. That is the crucial position. It's pole for race 2. He's under loads of pressure from Chris Ireland, who wants a DPR car on the front row.
Yeah, certainly does. Chris Ireland will be trying everything he can to try and get past Samuel Sproul here. the remaining 2 laps of this race. That last time by, nothing between them, about 500ths of a second in lap time between those two drivers. Tyson Broad, he's about a tenth away from Ireland, so I don't think he's really in the race at the moment. Samuel Sproul, though, is 3/10 quicker than Harrison Lillis on that last one by, so potentially Sproul could get into the game for P number 11 here. And with all the battling going on between Gibbs and Jones as well, could bring some more cars into it with only 2 laps to go.
Yep. All right. 1.5 laps to go, more like, for these cars that we're looking at on screen at the moment. Thomas Hinz still holding on to 8th spot, but Ryan Jones is not allowing Robbie Gibbs to get away. This battle for 9th position has been going off, and Ryan Jones currently leading the Pro-Am class. So if he wants those maximum points for the Pro-Am division, he'll want to be a bit careful about this. He's got a couple of cars rounding him up, which include Harrison Lillas and Sam Sproul. Question is for Sproul, does he want to make these moves? Does he want to take advantage of the battling in front of him? Because I'd certainly take a pole position start for the next race over 1 extra position here, especially this early in the season.
Yeah, I think for Sproul, he's got enough of a gap back there to Chris Ireland. Looks like 1.2 seconds according to our timing. So personally, I don't think he's got to do anything too crazy. I think he can just sit in here, position number 12. He won't lose too much time sitting behind Lillis. Last time by, he was half a second quicker, so he might catch him by the end of the lap, but I don't think Samuel Sproul's going to do anything too crazy, as the battle for second is still going on here between Dylan Shepherd and Matthew Boller. These guys have been, to and froing all race long. Dylan Shepherd hasn't quite had enough to get past Matthew Boller. It was all one on the start, really, that get away from Job Stewart from the pole. He's driven away since then, 4.7 second lead, and Bowler and Shepherd still going P3 and 4, and it looks like Lazarus has dropped off a little bit from Andrew Dyson.
Yeah, and it looks like the battle is over there, and Dyson starting to catch up a little bit to Bowler and Shepherd here as they make their way through the stop-start, almost street circuit-like section of the lap. Is there anything that Dylan Shepherd can do to get second place, or will he have to settle for third? Just a couple more corners to go then for our leader, Job Stewart. We'll see if there is any kind of dive by Dylan Shepherd at the final corner, but making his way through that final corner is Job Stewart. There is the dive from Shepherd. A little bit of overlap on entry. Bowler's going to go wide to let him have the room, and it's a drag race to the line. Bowler with the better exit around the outside. Stewart takes the win in race 1. Bowler is just going to get second by the skin of his teeth.
A little bit of contact there on the run to the line as well between Shepherd and Bowler. Some fantastic finish there. Opportunistic move there from Shepherd, but it was all clean, hard racing, fantastic finish there. And Samuel Sproul, more importantly, coming across the line, he's going to finish position number 12, and more importantly, pole position for race number 2 in just a moment. Fantastic racing there, Reese, all throughout the top 10, all throughout the field. There's a lot of carnage and a lot of action early on, but some fantastic racing in between.
Yeah, goodness gracious. AOG Porsche Cup has not left our minds. Ben Jeffrey trying to make up another spot here, but Josh Van Treek is going to finish ahead of him, and well, Ben's going to have to settle for that 22nd spot. Daniel Benefield all the way down in 24th. He had a very rough race indeed. We'll wait for our final few cars to cross the line here with news that Lillas, Sproul and Pedersen were all on 16 incidents. They were so close to overgoing the incident limit. Benefield getting 18 incidents, so I'm wondering if that's going to alter the final race result. Interestingly, the only driver that was on 0 incidents throughout the race was Andrew Dyson, who finished in P4. That's the identity, and he finished on 2 incidents in the end, so no one escaped the incident points here at Circuito de Navarra. Well, that's going to bring us into the results from race 1. It's Job Stewart who won the first race here, with Bowler, Shepherd, Dyson and Lazarus your top 5. Adam Hughes and Matthew Boylett finishing in 6th and 7th, with Thomas Hinz, Robert Gibbs and Ryan Jones rounding out our top 10. Crucially, Brady, for Harrison Lillas and Sam Sproul, they are your front row for race 2.
Certainly are, and also Ryan Jones, the winner of the Pro-Am class as well, finishing 10th overall. Chris Olin just missed out on race 2, pole finishing in 13th. Tyson Broad, Harry Lawrence 14th and 15th. Mizomo and Dwayne Burns, they were on the podium for Pro-Am, 16th and 17th overall. Ben Pedersen in 18th, unfortunately, was in the wars early on, but a nice recovery from him. Hayden Veld goes plus 13 to finish 19th. And Jake Santa Lucia will round out the top 20.
In 21st, it was Josh Van Treek, just ahead of Ben Jeffrey, Jacob Lucas and Daniel Benefield, 23rd and 24th. Gray, Jepson, Dawson and Patrick will round out the top 28. I believe Ben Jeffrey might have won the AM class there with Brody Shepherd and Stuart Ellis, our top 30. Dean Jacobson, Nick Carroll and Dan Mirko finishing the event. Jet Murray did not take to the start, so we see that all of the drivers who started the race ended up finishing. That's really good. I can see that the rain is starting to move in warm-up, so we're going to have a very feisty race 2 here in the AOG Porsche Cup Season 9 here on SimSpeed TV. Quick break and we'll be back at it. You're watching SimSpeed TV, the AOG Porsche Cup Season 9 Round 2. The rain is approaching. That's your live weather radar down in the bottom right. And as we've gone into the warm-up session between the races, my lord, 22 degrees Celsius track temperature, 21 air temperature. The drivers are in for one heck of a ride here in race 2 with a mandatory pit stop required and the top 12 from race 1 reversed. Let's go through the grid then very quickly before we get into this next sequence of action. By virtue of finishing 12th in race 1, it's going to be Sam Sproul who starts on pole position with Harrison Lillas alongside him. And Ryan Jones will start on the second row alongside Robbie Gibbs. They're going to be a big factor here as the rain starts to fall on the circuit. Thomas Hinz is going to start in 5th place alongside Matthew Boylett on the 3rd row. And behind them, it's Adam Hughes and Corey Lazarus, row 4. Andrew Dyson and Dylan Shepherd will round out our top 10.
From there is the top 2 from race number 1, Matthew Bowler and Job Stewart. Chris Island, Tyson Broad, the next 2. Lawrence and Mizomo, 15 and 16. Burns, Peterson, 17, 18. Veld and Santa Lucia rounding out the top 20. Joshua Van Treek and Ben Jeffrey, 21 and 22. Jacob Lucas and Daniel Benefield, 23 and 24. Dylan Gray, Adam Jepson, the next 2, followed by Alan Dawson and Greg Patrick. Brody Shepherd and Stuart Ellis, they will round out the top 20. The last 2 cars on the grid, or the last 3 cars, apologies, will be Dean Jacobson, Nick Carroll and Dan Mirko. Jedi Murray, I believe, did not attend race number 1. And Reese, it is raining. Waiting for all the cars to grid. I did ask if we can see the tyre choices in case anyone was audacious and bold, potentially, I was going to say silly. And Dwayne Burns has loaded in on dries. So where is he starting? He's starting position number 17. So keep an eye out for the number 19 race.
Yeah, the one and only driver in the field that is on dry tyres. So this is going to be a difficult run for him. The track is getting rather moist at the moment. AOG Race Control said it was meant to start dry and go wet, but we're going to have a wet start here at Navarra for race 2. Let's see then how we end up going. As the rain falls further down onto the circuit. Plenty more to come, I'm sure. Revs rise, and we get ready to go here. Sam Sproul leads us away. Yeah, very good getaway, but see the spray that's already being thrown up. It is a massively wet race at the moment. Robbie Gibbs challenging Ryan Jones for third place as Harrison Lillas settles in behind Sam Sproul at the front of the field, close between Thomas Hinz and Matthew Boylett. The OPR cars are all together just behind them with Job Stewart, race 1 winner, on the inside. Hinzy still having some technical issues there as the OPR cars make contact, and we have Simon Mazzomo around in the 9.5 Sim Sports Porsche. He's going to fall all the way to the rear of the field now.
Yeah, some fantastic race at the start. Oh, there's Peter. Is that Peterson around again in the 77? Massive issue. I've been watching Job Stewart. Greg Patrick's in the 77. I've been watching Job Stewart. I think he's up to about position number 6 already from 12th. That real life experience, racing Super 2 in real life. Job Stewart, the reigning champion, already up 6 spots in the opening half a lap. What a start for the number 1.
Yeah, what a start indeed for Job Stewart. I saw Adam Hughes also playing a little bit of ping pong in the midfield as they make their way down to the slow corners for the first time. Andrew Dyson slipping up the inside of Harry Lawrence there in the blue DPR machine, the number 41. Tyson Broad right with them as well, and Broad's already picked up a little bit of damage to his front right. The number 27 looking a bit substandard at the moment, but he should be able to keep going at the pace he is. Dyson, though, is coming, and he is fantastic on the power here in the wet conditions. The drivers need to be careful. Of course, it being a wet race now, the racing line is not necessarily the fastest way around the circuit.
No, I've learned that in the limited starts I've had in the wet race, pretty much all in GT3 cars, a little bit of open wheel as well. You do not want to be on the racing line. It is the slipperiest line. You'll see drivers experiment a lower line, an outside line potentially, to try and find some extra grip. I think some of these guys that have experience in these cars, been racing a little while, someone like Job Stewart, even with real life experience, watch for those guys to be at the front of the field. But at the moment, it's Harrison Lillas for Drop Bear Motorsport out in front at the moment. Samuel Sproul, Ryan Jones, Robbie Gibbs 4th, Matthew Boyer, and then Job Stewart, Thomas Hinz, Matthew Bowler up to position number 8. Andrew Dyson, I picked up off the start, had a very poor getaway off the line, but he's made up a few spots since then.
Yeah, here comes Job Stewart then as a side-by-side between Boylett and Gibbs. Robbie has to run offline there and give some space, and you got to try and clip the apex through this section. You have to run the racing line through turns 6 and 7, but once you start getting to these turns here, sometimes missing the apex is the best way to go, as Dyson and Lazarus have made contact. Corey Lazarus having a terrible night so far.
Yeah, it's unlucky for Lazarus, who had a pretty decent race number 1. Looks like he was just hung out to dry a little bit on the outside by Tyson Broad, potentially trying to go around the outside. A little bit of contact maybe, or just ran wide, and then more contact after that with Dyson. So that's going to be awkward for race control to call. Corey Lazarus, he's got a lot of work to do now. He's right behind Jacob Lucas in the field, so a lot of work to do for Lazarus, who finished P5. He was on for a good result until a mistake in race number 1, so a bit more work for him to do as we're on board here at the field with Hayden Veld. In front of him is Andrew Dyson, so Hayden Veld, he's on a charge as well. Currently position number 15. He started race number 1 in 32nd. So, and we've already had no incident for blocking between the 27 and the double 2, Hughes and Broad. No further action on that one. But the rain is getting more torrential now, Race. It looks like it's getting heavier and a lot more treacherous. The wind's picking up a little bit as well. So it's going to stay overcast for pretty much the entire race distance. So it's going to get even more murky and scary for these drivers.
Yeah, certainly is. This has been a fairly hectic bank of rain that has come through here. We're about a third of the way through the heaviest part of it, but it should start lessening a little bit as time goes on. So we'll see if the drivers can dry out the circuit at all, or if the rain will just keep falling. These battles further back at the field, Hayden Veld having to make a recovery there. He was a little bit too far out, and it looks like there's a bit of a problem behind as well, as looks like Peterson and Broad trading spots for 9th and 10th, a little bit further up in this battle. Ben's holding on to the top position in this fight, but he's got a lot of angry cars very close behind him. This is another view of what happened to Hayden Veld. I drove the Mustang GT3 when it came out on this part of the circuit, and you do not want to run off the track there. When it's rainy, it gets mighty slippery on the painted concrete, and it looks like Harry Lawrence has found that out the hard way once again. Saw that Thomas Hinz is falling down the order as well. It's just chaos out here at the moment.
Yeah, that slide from Hayden Veld as well was a big one. Going back to his dirt racing background from a few years ago, holding that slide was pretty impressive. And we've seen Dwayne Burns already enter the pits. He started on slick tyres, which was very audacious, and looks like, is that Ryan Jones coming into the pits?
Yes, it is.
The number 11 of Ryan Jones. So drivers do have a compulsory pit stop. I'm not 100% sure on fuel limits and whatnot, Ray, so I'm not sure if you know any more about that than what I do. I've got to do my research, but Harry Lawrence, just maybe a potential aquaplane there on the outside, didn't get it pulled up, and he's gone right off.
Yeah, and wet conditions, you don't want to hit the white line or the curbs on the outside of the circuit because you'll just get sent off. These cars do not have anti-lock brakes fitted, so if you lose grip slowing down for a corner, that's it. Looks like Daniel Benefield, Andrew Dyson, Simon Mazzomo, and Alan Dawson, as well as Harry Lawrence, all coming into the lane as well, trying to get their mandatory pit stops out of the way early. These drivers are expecting the track to stay wet the whole way through. A very long stop, meanwhile, for Andrew Dyson, more than half a minute stopped there. That is a lot more than we have expected. I think there's some further issues in that car because the pit stops we've seen so far, the fastest of which have been around 4 or 5 seconds. Oh no, Dylan Shepherd and Ben Peterson coming together. They raced each other very closely last season. Got to be careful on the rejoin, guys. Almost cleaning up the car of Joshua Van Treek there.
Yeah, I wonder what the issue is for Andrew Dyson. Is he not coming back out, or does he have a penalty? Or not too sure if he potentially had a speeding pit lane. I'll try and pick it up while we're looking at the Dylan Shepherd replay.
Peterson.
Yeah, there's a little lock up there on the inside, wasn't there, Reese?
Yeah, looked like it, and Dylan Shepherd will be none too happy with how that one went down. Just a straight-up mistake and overshoot from Ben Peterson. Meanwhile, Job Stewart has worked his way up to third place. Sam Sproul, who started on pole position, has fallen down to fourth place. Harrison Lillis now having to try and keep Boylett and Stewart behind him. Lillis with a nice lead, though. Once Job Stewart gets some clear air, should be able to catch up, but it's all gone wrong for our pole sitter here. Two more. No, scratch that. 3 more drivers coming into the pits as Stewart goes up the inside of Boylett. Hinz, Shepherd, and Dylan Gray have made their way into the lane now.
And Andrew Dyson just coming out of the pits, so still not sure what the issue was for Dyson. Maybe we can try and find out later on. Unfortunately, he's going to be a lap down and pretty much out of this race, but all these guys pitting early, lap 3, 4, 5, I'm suggesting they don't really have to take too much fuel. It would only be very minor if they're pitting this early. So very strategic. We'll see what the guys out in front do. Harrison Lillis, Job Stewart, Boylett, Sproul, Gibbs, those top 5 separated by 4 seconds. We'll have to see what they do strategy-wise. Do they go long? Because there's still 21 laps left in this race.
Well, the media replay, meanwhile, of the number 48 of Nick Carroll got across the curb, and that's the worst place to be in the wet. Just slides right off and almost cleans up the full send car. I couldn't tell if that was Patrick or Peterson there, but man, that's got to be tough. Yeah, it is a bit weird to see how long Andrew Dyson spent in the pits there. You're raising the point, Brady, that it might have been a penalty for speeding into pits potentially. Combine that with maybe some damage he got coming into the pits, then that would result in the unfortunate long stop that we've seen from him. Well, we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah, very interesting. And we just confirmed Nick Carroll has black flag for exceeding instant limits for the second race in a row, lap 5 already, which is not too good for him. Alan Dawson, he's left the race as well, unfortunately. Will be a retirement in this race. Yeah, maybe the Dyson one potentially had a slowdown and didn't clear it in time for the pit lane. because when he was in the pits, I actually had a look, and iRacing didn't have a black flag against his name, so might be something we'll try and investigate post-race and maybe report for the next rain race, because it's very odd.
Yeah, very odd indeed. There's more drivers coming into the lane now. Santa Lucia and Shepherd, Brody Shepherd, both in there with a bit longer stops than we've seen from the drivers who first came into the pits. It was 10.5 seconds for Jake Santa Lucia, maybe spending some extra time getting tyres on his Daniel Benefield. Yeah, Benefield has had a very rough night so far, and it looks like that's at the final corner that he's had an off or a spin somehow. Seems to have escaped damage, though, so he'll continue on as good as he possibly can. Drivers like Benefield will be hoping for a safety car at this point in the race.
Yeah, it's not a bad watch. The car in front of him, there's actually 2 cars off in front of him. There's Dylan Gray and Dan Mirko in front of him, and looks like potentially Benefit just locked up in the wet as well. Pretty much spun to avoid, so I don't think there's really anything malice in that. It's just unlucky for Benefield, wrong spot, wrong time type thing.
Yeah, looks like it. And was hearing that the pit entry for Andrew Dyson looked fine, so it's still a complete mystery as to why Dyson has had such a long stop. This is the onboard of it from Dyson, and he doesn't have any damage on the car. Yeah. He went in a bit too late. You have to commit to the pit entry lane earlier than that. Otherwise, you will get a hefty penalty. So that explains it. That's probably what happened to Andrew Dyson there. Well, for his troubles, he is now down a lap and stands practically no chance of making further inroads into this field. Meanwhile, Dylan Gray continuing on here as Corey Lazarus and Nick Carroll make their way into the pit lane. Shepherd trying his best to get the Vermilion car here past Dylan Gray up ahead of him. This is a very fun battle for sure. You can see just how much they're pushing here, even in the wet conditions. Meanwhile, things have gotten worse for Andrew Dyson. Contact with Corey Lazarus, well, that's gotten him a 10-second time penalty from race control.
And see, on board as well, Ben Jeffrey, our race 1 winner in the M category, has had an off as well. Just that onboard, if we can get another onboard, Jay, with really anyone in the field if we can. Puddles are starting to form quite badly on the inside of the track. A few different spots. There's lots of puddles. We're on board with Robbie Gibbs for Evolution Racing Team, the number 2 car. You see the spray as well, race is really bad following a car, and a lot of puddles starting to form there on the inside. Oh, there's Tyson Broad. Is it that's gone wide? Unfortunately, he's gone wide. Bowler in behind him and Robbie Gibbs. So 2 ERT cars chasing down. A drop back car, Broad wide again, but Bowler on the inside where the puddles are. There's not much traction in there either. So Broad's line on the outside was probably all right. Bowler still trying to get on the inside where the puddles are. Looks like he's got a bit more exit traction. He's going to be on the outside though for turn number 13. Can he get it done? Locks the rears up side by side on the edge of the corner. Bowler gets it done. What a move for Matthew Bowler.
Yeah, indeed. He's going to stay behind, though, for... Broad's going to stay behind for the time being. Bowler making sure that he's got everything in it for a good run to the finish from here. Remember, the majority of the field haven't come into the pits yet. These guys and everyone in front of them, most people behind them as well, deciding to go long here, side by side just about between Gibbs and Sproul, and Sam is trying his best to hold on to a position in at the top 6, currently running in 7th. He's got a lot to play for here and an opportunity for big points after starting on pole. And side by side again between Broad and Bowler. Broad's gotten back ahead.
It's fantastic racing between Broad and Bowler. They're still going at it on the exit there of turn number 4. The run to 5. Bowler back down the inside. Broad on the outside. Broad back down the inside for 6. What a move, still side by side. Robbie Gibbs is probably watching this like, boys, let me get in there as well. And looks like Bowler gets the move done. Coming into turn 8, well, just hang on. Can Broad do something? He won't. Robbie Gibbs might now have a look into turn number 9. That's invited. Samuel Sproul into it. So there's 4 cars racing for this position. And looks like Harrison Lillis under pressure now from race 1 winner Job Stewart.
And there's news of a drive-through penalty for Ben Peterson as Job decides to try and make the move, but he's not on the ideal line there in wet conditions. Look at Lillis there. He wants to try and keep Stewart behind. It doesn't matter who's behind you. You're going to defend as hard as you possibly can. Stewart, one of the most successful drivers from the AusNZ sim racing community, but no one told Harrison Lillis that. He wants that lead.
100%. You race for a lead. You want to try and hang on to it. And Job, I think, is just playing the patient game. And very defensive line there for Lillis down the inside. Job Stewart crosses him on the final corner. He's going to get a lot more traction on the exit of the final corner. He's also going to have the exit. The inside for turn number 1, 2, and 3. They'll be side by side. Lillis will lead that lap by 26 thousandths of a second, nearly bumping on the entry of turn 1. Lillis thinks better of it. Job Stewart will get into the lead through turn 1. Through turn 2, car number 1, back into position number 1.
Yeah, and it's likely that he's going to just keep extending that lead from there. Sam Sproul, meanwhile, having a bit of a problem here, overshooting the braking zone and doing exactly what we saw, I think, Van Treek doing earlier on in the race, just a little bit too deep in the corner and running straight off into the tarmac runoff. My God, every time we go through that section, it looks like Robbie Gibbs is having some kind of issue. Stuart Ellis makes his way out of the pits there. The dynamic car is going to rejoin fourth of the cars that have pitted, just giving up a position there to Chris Ireland as Dean Jacobson is around in the race on Oz entry there. Jacobson will fall down to 24th, 25th, and there's further problems as well for Nick Carroll and Adam Jepson as well. Carroll there stopped and the suspension's broken apparently, so he might call for a tow from race control. No front wheels there. He's not going to be able to get it back to the pits. Will he have to call race control for a tow and get the safety car out?
Potentially Adam Jepson on the radio as well. Mazomo very slow as well, so there's a few cars walking wounded at the moment. And potentially Jepson's on the radio. He's still driving around though. Haven't heard anything from Nick Carroll, but he is pulled up on the side of the track. And yeah, there is a call request to tow for car 48. Job Stewart, he's just gone past the pit lane as the leaders. Bowler, he dives in the pits. Very smart call there from Bowler because there will be a safety car here for the car of Nick Carroll parked on the exit turn 2. Veld in the pits as well. So if you guys take an opportunity, and Peterson ran the outside down to the inside. Fantastic move there. And safety car, I think, is about to be called. Waiting for Isaac Edwards, drive the McLaren safety car, and there it is.
There it is indeed. So Job Stewart already most of the way around the lap there. Edwards is going to pick him up. And the question is, will this be the opportunity that everyone else takes to come into the pits as well? This is going to massively benefit the likes of Veld, Hughes and Bowler, who have just completed their stops. But Bowler had a very long stop. 18 seconds was the time there for Matthew Bowler. This is once again what happened. So the race on Oscar spins ahead and oh no, just further contact there. It looks like making contact with the Bluebell car. That's what broke the suspension there for Nick Carroll.
So I'm just trying to pick it up, Race. I believe Ryan Jones is the leader of the guys that have pitted so far. Matthew Bowler has come out a fair way behind him. I think provisionally 4th overall. Veld has jumped Bowler. He's into 2nd overall. Job Stewart, he's sliding. He's driving that car on the limit on this in-lap, Job Stewart. He's pulled a gap on Ellis, so he's going to have to push because I think Jones might be in a decent position because he's jumped quite a few guys. Whether his stop was a lot shorter, we've just been told 27 seconds transit time for Ryan Jones, 29 for Hayden Veld. So if Job Stewart can get a 27, he's only going to come out just in front of Ryan Jones. So Ryan Jones potentially could be on for a podium here if it all plays out even better as Job Stewart, he enters the pit lane. He's going to make sure it's nice and clean. Looks like it is. Race leader in the pit lane. We'll have to see where these guys come out compared to Ryan Jones.
Yeah, no surprise to see that Lillis and Boylett have thrown themselves into the lane as well. Waiting to see if Tyson Broad will come in as well. He will, so will Robbie Gibbs. You'd be a fool not to pit at this point. This is your best opportunity to get that stop out of the way under safety car. But where is Job going to come out with a 3.2 second pit stop? I mean, that's easily going to be the lead, but he has to slow down because the safety car's waiting to pick him up.
Yes, luckily he's not going to be affected by anyone that's coming past at a flying speed. Where is Ryan Jones? There he is. Looks like Ryan Jones fourth, so Lillis stays second, Boyle at third. So I believe that's unchanged, but I think Ryan Jones has made up quite a few places since then. Tyson Broad, he's a few spots behind Dyson. He's in the queue there, but obviously he's a lap down. So I think, I'm pretty right that Job Stewart, he was going to hang on to the lead, but very short stop. We've seen some guys, pit stops very long, and Job Lillis only in the 3-second range, so pretty much taking no fuel whatsoever.
Yeah, well, we'll see if that works out for him towards the end. I mean, it makes sense to me, because, excuse me, the fuel usage in wet conditions is usually less than it is in the dry because you're not getting on the throttle that hard. You're short shifting out of the corners. There's just not as much fuel being used. So I think it does make sense for Job Stewart to have that short pit stop. He probably projects that he won't need that much fuel to get to the end from here. We're almost halfway through.
Yeah, correct. And I think Job's smart enough racer. He's been around a while. Very experienced, very talented driver. I think he knows what he's doing. And obviously, Lewis, his pit stop time was pretty much the same as well. So obviously, didn't have to take much fuel on. And obviously, the other guys must have just had issues in the pit lane to be a little bit slower. But it doesn't really matter now because the field is all compressed. The top 10 as it is right now: Job Stewart, Harrison Lillis, Matthew Bullitt, our top three. Ryan Jones, fourth overall in the leader of Pro-Am by about 5 spots. So very good job so far for Ryan Jones. Tyson Broad rounding out the top 5. Gibbs, Peterson, Veld from the back of the field in race 1 into the top 10. Fantastic drive for Hayden Veld. Joshua Van Trieg and Adam Hughes. That will round out your top 10. Trying to pick up the leader of the AM category potentially is Greg Patrick, I believe, down in 22nd, and the number 77 machine is our AM class leader.
We're hearing news that 3 drivers in the field are already on 17 or 18 incidents. That is bang on nearly the incident limit. So they're going to have to tone it down a little bit once they get back to green flag racing. When you're racing in the wet, especially when the field gets compressed again, like it will at the end of this safety car period, it'll be very easy to make mistakes, make contact with other cars, and absolutely ruin your race. So everyone pray to whatever deity you believe in, or maybe just cross your fingers that we have a solid race to the end here. Safety car waiting for confirmation that it will be coming in at the end of this lap. I would expect that it will. Nick Carroll has been cleared and is already back in the pits now, so fortunate there for him. Oh dear, I've just seen a big problem for Harrison Lillis. Ooh, easy does it. Harrison's still holding on to second spot there versus Job Stewart, but he is having some big internet dramas.
Yeah, he had that in race 1 as well, race, and just have a look at some his internet's a little bit low on the quality side, so hopefully that hangs on to him and doesn't cause any potential dramas as well for the guys in behind him. We've seen Job Stewart in race 1 where he started off the pole position, drove away, won by about 4 or 5 seconds from memory. Now that he's out in front in the wet as well, where he's already driven from 12th to the lead, be interesting to see what he can do now that he is out in front. Can he pull away and build a big gap once again? Can Harrison Lillis hold on for a podium as well? He went 18th to 11th in race number 1, so obviously he's on the front row, and he's staying right up there as well. Matthew Borlett, he finished 7th in race 1, started 6th in this one, he's up to 3rd. And Ryan Jones as well, remember, Pro-Am driver in position number 4. He's going to have a lot of fast guys, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens off this restart. We'll be starting lap number 13 on the restart, so we're effectively halfway through this race. Safety car is, I believe, about to pull away from the field, is Isaac Edwards, the driver, and race, I think it's going to be game on when we go green.
Oh yeah, absolutely is. So keep an eye out for the confirmation from race control as drivers are weaving in the wet conditions to get a little bit of heat in those tyres. You don't want to get too much heat in though, because wet tyres tend to heat up rather quickly when you scrub them. I think the drivers will be largely trying to keep it off the racing line and try and look after the tyres, because in wet conditions, you want to stay in the cooler parts of the racetrack and keep those temperatures under control. Weather update, we're about to reach the end of that huge bank of rain that we saw. And there's a little clear spot that I can see starting to form to the northwest, but it just seems like it's going to close up by the time it gets to the circuit. The rain should be lighter, though, for the end of the race, and I'll be hoping that that'll grant them a little more grip. The track is soaked. This is going to be a tough restart for everyone involved. Job Stewart leading the way from Harrison Lillis and Matthew Boylett, who seems has had a couple of problems there right at the start of the restart here. So we're going to get going here. Wait for the call of the green flag, and Job Stewart decides to go. Ryan Jones and Tyson Broad really wanting to get by, and Jones will be in a little bit of trouble there potentially, nearly passing Matthew Boylett before the start-finish line. Almost 3 wide on the way into the first turn. Job Stewart's going to sweep away now, and Boylett will hold on versus Jones for now. But here comes Tyson Broad steaming up the inside into the hairpin, not going to get it done. Ben Peterson passing Robbie Gibbs to get into 6th place as the rest of the field makes their way through.
Yeah, it looks like both Boylett and Lillis are having connection issues as well, so it's going to be very difficult for guys like Ryan Jones, Tyson Broad in behind to even see those guys, and it's even harder in the wet as well, so definitely want to keep an eye out of 2nd and 3rd, both having connection issues. At the moment, it looks like Boylett is improving, but Job Stewart, very nice restart. Hasn't really pulled away as much as what I thought. Still got about 2 car length gap, and Ryan Jones looks pretty racy as well, on board with Hayden Veld, position number 8, chasing down his teammate, Robbie Gibbs as well. Down the inside is Dylan Shepherd on his teammate, Adam Hughes. That is for position number 10 on the road as well. And side by side up ahead between Ben Peterson and Tyson Broad. That's for position number 6. Broad on the inside. Peterson trying to go around the outside, side by side. On exit at turn number 9 through 10. Peterson still trying to hang around the outside, and will have the inside for turn number 11. Gets it done. The 669 now up to position number 5.
Yeah, good line choice by Ben Peterson there. It was offline. It was where the track was a little bit rougher and a little bit cooler. This is exactly what you want in wet conditions. He'll try his best to hold on, though, because Tyson Broad, it looks like, is on a hard charge at the moment. There's Matthew Boylett passing Harrison Lillis for 2nd place. Meanwhile, Harrison doing very well to hold on to a position in the top 3 as Peterson dives up the inside of Ryan Jones. Jones will get the power down at the final corner beautifully and keep the position for now. Is there anyone who can come up against Job Stewart? His times are just incredible in the wet. It's defensive for Jones here as Peterson is looking mega aggressive. Jones won't like this, being in the middle of 2 very aggressive drivers. Will Peterson dive up the inside of turn 3? He's not quite close enough to get it done.
Ben Peterson's looking, like you said, very aggressive, trying to stick the nose in a few different places to try and get the move done on Ryan Jones. It looks like Lillis struggling just a little bit off the restart. Boylett's already got the move done there for position number 2. And Ryan Jones still, he's going to try and get past Lillis because he wants to try and get away from Ben Peterson. Feels like Tyson Broad there in 7th. Watch out for Gibbs as well. It looks like Hayden Veld's also lost the spot to Dylan Shepherd as well. So, Dylan Shepherd. There's the O25, Dylan Gray. DK Motorsports machine, unfortunately, in the fence, and very lucky not to make contact there on the rejoiners. There's so much happening in the background here. He's Matthew Bowler and Chris Island on our Bowler Media replay. As we're about to talk about Matthew Bowler, down the inside is Island. Does he get pulled up? I believe that's Brady Shepherd in the main car, and unfortunately, there's a car on the outside there, and unfortunately for Chris Island, he's spun around.
Yeah, shame there for Ireland. It's so difficult to negotiate a wet circuit. Thomas Hins down here in That's 18th place, trying to chase down Simon Mazzomo. Hinsey hasn't had the best of races compared to race 1. We're also hearing that Greg Patrick apparently hasn't taken his mandatory pit stop just yet in the number 77. So there's one driver here who is on some very worn tyres. Oh no, spinning in front of the field there. And Tyson Broad is losing positions as well. Jake Santalucia and Corey Lazarus were involved in that. And oh dear, Tyson Broad has just had some internet dramas apparently. He's lost a few positions. Corey Lazarus trying to maintain the place here. He's just been passed by Hinsey and Mazzomo. Robbie Gibbs, meanwhile, still in 8th spot, still trying to chase down Shepherd and Broad. Who's that off there? It's Peterson. Ben Peterson, a long way off at turn 1, and that's an interesting re-entry for sure.
Yeah, very interesting. Unfortunately, my iRacing is not playing the game with me for a moment there. We're not really seeing too much, but there was a massive moment there for Ben Peterson. Unfortunately, he's lost a couple of spots there, but now lost it to Broad and Ryan Jones as well. So Dylan Shepherd also calling something in to race control as well. So it'll be interesting to see what potentially happened there. Was it the potential rejoin from Ben Peterson?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it would have been. And Peterson's issues have just gotten worse because you see up there at the top, he's got a black flag for exceeding the incident limit. That off track was putting paid to his race there. Now, was that contact? Jones was behind him, but no, it wasn't contact. Peterson just went too deep, caught the curb, caught the white line, and went all the way around the MotoGP long lap. Goodness gracious. And there's the re-entry there. Dylan Shepherd will probably be glad that he was going tight out of turn 3 there.
Yeah, certainly. We've had another penalty also come through, race a 5-second time penalty for car 15, which is Harry Lawrence. That was contact with the 23, which is Christopher Ireland. And Chris Ireland's in the pits as well, so potential damage for the 23, and looks like he might be retired from this race. And also a warning for the 606 Samuel Sproul moving under brakes. Just a warning though, so no further action on that one. And a few more incidents. Drive-through penalty, Robbie Gibbs, I believe that would be instant limits because, instant limit with Ben Peterson, Jake Santalucia as well. Also, instant limit drive-through penalties.
Yeah, wow. It's gone so wrong for many drivers who could have been running up the front here, but, well, they'll just have to tour through the pits and resume running further down in the field. It's the opposite of those fortunes for Job Stewart, who's just steamed away to a 1.8 second lead now over Matthew Boylett and Harrison Lillis. Ryan Jones is trying his best to get up into the top 3, but Tyson Broad is indeed coming, and these are some big battles further on back. Sproul still holding on to a position in the top 10, but Matthew Bowler is coming, and Jake Santalucia will see if he can get a move up the inside as well. One mistake in a pack like this can change the entire face of the battle.
Yeah, certainly, Ray. Still a lot to play out in this race. He could potentially be going time certain as well in this race. 15 minutes remaining in this session, and apologies if can't quite keep up. My iRacing's not liking this wet weather whatsoever. It's really gone downhill, so we'll try and keep it on the prod feed for now, and even that's struggling on mine a little bit as well, so potentially this wet weather is playing all sorts of havoc for us here on SimSpeed TV.
Yeah, plenty of difficulties for everyone involved at the moment, as Jacob Lucas in the Dynamic Sim Sport 067 trying his best to work his way past Simon Mazzomo, but Mez has gone right back now, and this is a fantastic onboard view here from Mazzomo as Lucas tries to get the move done. Lucas up 9 spots from where he started. He's one of the biggest movers in the field, but the biggest movers are Hayden Veld and Joshua Van Treek, who are up 12 positions each, and Stuart Ellis has made up 13 places to P7. Santalucia, meanwhile, once again having big issues with his internet. He keeps dropping down the timing order. He's actually going into the pits. I think that might be an incident limit drive through there. Yeah, serving a black flag for Jake Santalucia. Okay, well, 14 minutes remain, Brady, and we've got plenty more to come in this race. Hayden Veld here holding on to 8th. Sam Sproul, meanwhile, comes in and absolutely whacks both Josh Van Treek and Hayden Veld. He lets them all go, and Matthew Bowler stands a chance here to gain an extra position. Big slide for Joshua Van Treek.
That's bet 2 or 3 times, and we've gone to a driver race, and they've been absolutely doored, unfortunately, for Hayden Veld, but he will keep the spot there for position number 8. Now his teammate Bowler into 9th, where Bowler had that really good race 1. Unfortunately, had a pit stop drama in race 2 here, a bit of a slow stop, so he's down the order probably a lot more than what he would be hoping for. So on the recovery drive for the number 12, remember he won round number 1 2 weeks ago at Algarve, and now trying to get back through the field, potentially get another spot from his teammate here.
Yeah, let's see then what Bowler can do. As oh dear, that was Sproul who went off in a big way there just off the screen. Meanwhile, Tyson Broad has finally gotten past Ryan Jones for 4th place. Will Broad be able to do anything to get onto the podium from here? He's got about 1.5 seconds to his teammate Harrison Lillis. Matthew Boylett's still a long way ahead as well, to say nothing of Job Stewart's 4.7 second lead over the rest of the field. Mazomo gets up the inside of Van Treek, but he's on the less grippy part of the racetrack there. Van Treek just holds on to the position. They're coming into the final couple of corners now, and what line do you pick? It's really difficult. You need to keep yourself in with a chance off the racing line a little bit, and Mazomo catches a bit too much curb. Would have had the over-under if he'd managed to nail that, but a loss of traction, not too good.
No, unfortunately not. And on board there with Mazomo on the back of Van Treek. Adam Jepson in the pit lane as well. Adam Jepson, drive through. I assume that is for incident limits. So we only seen, I think, 2 guys exceed it in race number 1. And obviously, these wet conditions catching a lot more people in this race as well. So, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of drivers getting caught out at the moment here, Reese.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Plenty of drivers getting caught out, one of them being Corey Lazarus, who's continuing to make the occasional off-track excursion. Van Treek, meanwhile, well, he's managed to break free of Mazomo for the time being, and he'll be hoping to catch up to the battle between Veld and Bowler, who will be costing each other time. This will certainly be interesting to see if this works out okay for all drivers involved. I mean, there's battle packs going all the way down from 8th to 23rd right now. This race has turned ridiculous. I mean, it was already ridiculous from the very start.
Yeah, 100%. And Robbie Gibbs, we just had another black flag as well. So he, 30 incident limits apparently for Robbie Gibbs. So you get your first drive through at 20, and then every 10 after that, you get another drive through. So he's gone to 30, and probably that's 31 now for Robbie Gibbs. Social wide 32, he just got told. So Robbie Gibbs is having a race to forget here in race number 2. A lot of speed shown in race number 1, unfortunately. We'll have nothing to show for it here.
Yeah, and it looks like he's about to get passed by Brody Shepherd, and Shepherd trying the outside line, the fastest line in the wet, but not happening for the time being, as the 777 of Jake Santalucia having to make way behind there, and slowing down a bit, it seems, is Brody Shepherd. He'll let Dean Jacobson back alongside him for now. Meanwhile, Mazomo and Van Treek still together here. This is a fantastic battle on the outside is Simon Mazomo, and it looks like he's gotten the move done. Beautiful.
Yeah, if he takes a move there for Simon Mazomo there on Van Treek, they'll put him into the top 10 as well, and potentially help him out for a good points result. He finished 16th in race number 1. He was the round winner for the Pro-Am category for round number 1. So he's got a long way to go to try and get to Ryan Jones. He's still in the top 5 overall, and also the Pro-Am leader. So fantastic job for Ryan Jones. But we haven't talked about Job Stewart for a little while. That's because he's 6 seconds up the road from Matthew Boyle. He's absolutely dominating tonight's racing here, Reese.
Yeah, and he's actually running a conventional racing line here. That is how much of a pace advantage he has. He can take the, suboptimal line in wet conditions and still be the fastest car on track. He's even drifting it between the corners a little. Looks like he's just having fun out there. Doesn't have to worry about any pressure from behind. Set to take the double from here. 9 minutes and 10 seconds remain on the clock, and we should have 5 laps remaining in the the race when he crosses the line. Believe we are indeed going to be time certain thanks to that safety car period.
Yeah, and also we've got iRacing maintenance tonight too, Reece. So that's trimmed down the times a little bit. Probably with that one safety car, we would have made it full race distance, but unfortunately, just circumstances tonight with iRacing maintenance, we're going to be a little bit short as Hayden Veld and Adam Hughes, Matthew Bowler, three-way fight here for position number 7. Veld gets the move done on Adam Hughes, and what a drive again from Hayden Veld. 32nd to 19th in race 1, 19th to 7th now in race 2. Adam Hughes had a little look down the inside of 1, potentially to 2 and 3. Will he have another look? Here comes Bowler as well from behind, going to have a look into 3. So nice little battle pack here, and here comes Mazoma as well. Van Treek not far away, so nice little battle pack forming here. Position number 7 later in the piece.
Yeah, this goes all the way back to Jacob Lucas in 12th spot. In the background there, the two OPR cars of... oh no, easy does it. Ugh. Okay, Adam Hughes having a big off there. Managed to recover, but that will allow Mazzomo back through. I was going to say it actually goes back to Sam Sproul in 14th. Lazarus and Sproul, the two other OPR cars in this battle. Right behind them up the inside of Van Treek. Joshua was trying to get the position and take advantage. Hughes is struggling for traction on the exit there. Well held, but he is in trouble.
He is in trouble, Adam Hughes, unfortunately just struggling a little bit late on in the piece here. Mazzomo's got the move done. Van Treek, he's closing. Jacob Lucas and Lazarus. Lazarus is on the charge as well. He's had a race 2 to forget as well on the move as Van Treek pulls it up just in time to avoid contact there with Adam Hughes' rear bumper. Adam Hughes hanging on for dear life at the moment by the looks in the number 22. Just over 7 minutes remaining in this race, so not too long remaining. Probably about 4 laps to go this time by as James Stewart. He's already into turn number 1 and 2. He's that far in front. He might even get lap traffic by the end of this race. But this battle pack forming the edge of the top 10 is remarkable, Reece.
Yeah, it certainly is. Some great positions being gained by many drivers throughout this field. Stuart Ellis currently up the most at 14 spots. Currently running in 16th place. And, oh dear, hearing news, bad news for Dylan Shepherd. He's just exceeded, sorry, no, it's not an incident limit drive-through. It's for the contact with Dean Jacobson at turn 2. So we'll see what happened here. Shepherd trying up the inside. This is the incident that triggered the safety car. So Shepherd trying to get up the inside of Jacobson, just had some understeer through turn 1, and Jacobson turned around and then obviously got cleaned up by many cars, including the 48 of Nick Carroll, who ended up requesting that tow that brought out the safety car. So Dylan Shepherd deemed to be the car that caused all of that mess. He's going to have to pull into the pits for a drive-through in the last 6 minutes of this race. Yeah,
unfortunately for Dylan Shepherd's had a pretty decent night up until that. Had a podium in race number 1. Currently running P6 in this race. Looks like Jacob Lucas. He's also got a black flag. I'm not sure if that's a drive-through or instant limits. So it's instant limits for the 067 Jacob Lucas. They're the only 2 guys at the moment that do have drive-throughs. One for incidents and one for a penalty. And still going on, Corey Lazarus and Joshua Van Treek battling for 11th on the road. Lazarus down the inside at turn 12 will get the move done. And on screen, the 2 drop bear cars, Tyson Broad on screen battling with Harrison Lillis. This is for position number 3 is another car in the pit lane. That is Dylan Shepherd serving his drive through. It could be down to the 2 drop bear cars now fighting for the podium spot, race.
Yeah, it could indeed. It seems like Matthew Boylett has been holding on to that second place just sedately at the moment. He hasn't been under any pressure, and Tyson Broad has been very aggressive with his moves so far in this race. He might be sneaking up the inside of Lillis as we speak. He almost had a look, and they're side by side on the exit here. It's so difficult to negotiate, but Lillis is not allowing Broad past. No team orders at Drop Bear Motorsport, apparently. Trying up the inside is Broad. Lillis goes deep, and this should have the opportunity for the number 27 to get past into third, but Lillis is holding on round the outside.
Fantastic job there from Harrison Lillis with his teammate Tyson Broad now. Big bomb down the inside, nearly locks the front, trying to avoid contact with Lewis. This is all going on, and Ryan Jones is licking his lips in the background, sitting in position number 5. One little bit of contact happens here between the two teammates. Ryan Jones could end up on an overall podium. Obviously, he's at a pretty decent margin for the class win as well here tonight in both races. So Ryan Jones now battling for this third position as Job Stewart 11 seconds out in front. He's absolutely smoking the field here tonight.
And trying to smoke Thomas Hins is Andrew Dyson, who dives up the inside. Has he gone too deep, though? Will there be the cutback from Hins? No. Dyson parks it on the exit and will secure the move back up into 14th place. That's 11th in Pro. Been a very good recovery for Andrew Dyson. Remember how he was a lap down earlier on, having to take that massive hit in the pits? The safety car has saved his race.
Yeah, certainly. Dyson did get that wave around. He's up now, battling 14th. A few guys still behind him having connection issues, unfortunately. But Dyson working his way through the field. We've got 27 cars, I believe, on the lead. I've got a few retirements now. But Dyson, especially, who was so good in round number 1, saving his championship as we have another car. Santa Lucia has pulled up on the side of the road. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, he's
Has
just
he ran out
pulled
of
to a
fuel?
stop. Maybe he
ran out of
has. Maybe he has. He went off the circuit at turn 9. He's still stopped as we speak. Only 2.5 minutes left in the race. I don't think race control will want to call another safety car at this point. They might just allow him to tow off the circuit. He's currently stuck between turns 11 and 12. Santa Lucia's revving the engine. He's trying to get it going. I'm just not sure what's happened here, as there's been a problem for Dean Jacobson, just catching the water on the way into the final corner. Oh no. Okay, well, that explains it. Looks like that's Ben Jeffrey that has absolutely cleaned him up on the way into the last turn.
Yeah, Ben Jeffrey's got massive damage with the left front corner as well. Potential hardware failure potentially for Santa Lucia, or out of field if he was revving it. It wouldn't be out of fuel, so very interesting if it was hardware failure or fuel or what the go was. But Job Stewart coming around should be getting the white flag this time by Job Stewart, looking for Barney. Hopefully he's got his raincoat on. Does have the white flag out. So final lap for the number 1 Synergy Sim Racing car of Job Stewart, 12.6 second lead. Fantastic drive for him. His wet weather experience and real life racing experience certainly helping him here tonight, as the battle for third is still on between Harrison Lillis, Tyson Broad and Ryan Jones. Nothing separating these three drivers, only 7/10 between these three drivers, and they'll be going all out for this last lap. As Tyson Broad down the inside, Lillis runs wide. Tyson Broad, big dive down the inside. Lillis back down the inside, crossing him over. They're going to be side by side through turn number 4. Broad on the inside, Lillis on the outside, still side by side, the two teammates. And here comes Ryan Jones down the inside as well. Lillis defends. What a fantastic battle. Lillis runs wide. Here comes Jones once again down the inside for position number 4. What fantastic racing here. Races contact.
No! Well, they come together. Lillis gets on the brakes and allows Jones to continue on. They're not under any pressure from Bowler, Velden, Mazomo behind. So they were able to get themselves sorted out there. Shame that they came together like they did, but what a conclusion to that battle, and what a conclusion to this race for Job Stewart. I mean, he's got the number 1 on his car for a reason, right? He has had such an incredible run in these cars ever since he started racing them seriously. It is the last lap of the race, and he is going to cap off his first round back in the series with a double. Pole in race 1, winning both races, and leading almost all the way in both of them. One more corner to go here for Job Stewart, and the Synergy Sim Racing number 1 will cross the line to win the second race here at Navarra.
Yeah, massively impressive drive there for Job. Rating champion for a reason. Absolutely annihilates the field. Matthew Boyle and Harrison, it's Tyson Broad will finish on the podium. Ryan Jones will be our Pro-Am winner for race number 2 and for the night as well, with results of 10th and 4th as well. Hayden Veld's had an off late in the piece as well. Last corner, was it on his own? Yeah, it was on his own. A big moment for Veld. Lost about 4 positions there. Andrew Dyson's recovered very well to get back into the top 15 as well, trying to pick up our potential M-Class leader. It is Adam Jepson, who, from memory, Reese, was he the Season 8 champion in the M-Class? I know he was right up there in the points for the M-Class, but he's going to come around the final few corners, a big slide there for the 5.25. He's going to come across the line in just a moment, and he's going to take out the M-Class win for race number 2. Not sure for the round. We will get to talk to our round winners in each of the 3 categories, but we all know that Job Stewart will be our Pro Class winner for the night. Ryan Jones will be our Pro M winner of the night. It'll just be our our M Class winner for the night. But no doubtly, Job Stewart, class of the field once again here tonight, Reese.
Yeah, no doubt. That was incredible stuff from round 2 of the AOG Porsche Cup. Job Stewart drifting it to the line. Now, iRacing is about to go down for maintenance, so hopefully we'll be able to get these results confirmed in the league. But yeah, we'll go through our results first. Mr. Stewart at the front of the field. 14.5 seconds was the gap for the win in the end, ahead of Matthew Boylett. What a fantastic improvement it was there from Boylett across the course of the night. 9th qualifying for race 1 up to 7th, then started 6th for race 2 and gets the podium, along with Tyson Broad, who recovers very nicely indeed. Ryan Jones 4th, with Harrison Lillis in 5th place. Matt Bowler ahead of Simon Mazzomo, who finishes 2nd in Pro-Am. Corey Lazarus, Adam Hughes and Hayden Veld round out the top 10, but Veld will be ruining that mistake on the last lap.
Yeah, unfortunately, Veld lost a few positions there at the end. Joshua Van Treek in 11th. Dylan Shepherd, Samuel Sproul, 12th and 13th. Andrew Dyson, a really good recovery there to finish 14th. Thomas Hens, what could have been in 15th. Stuart Ellis, Harry Lauren, 16th and 17th. Then 3 Pro-Am drivers ran out the top 20. Jacob Lucas, Dwayne Burns, who started on the slick tyre, mind you, finished 19th. And Brody Shepherd ran out the top 20.
21st in the end was Robert Gibbs, which he'll certainly be hoping for better results later on in the season. He started in 4th for that race. Adam Jepson, meanwhile, wins the AM class ahead of Greg Patrick and Dan Mirko. Dean Jacobson, Ben Jeffrey and Jake Santalucia are classified 1 lap down. Santalucia towing back to the pits after what we presume to be a hardware issue on the in the final couple of laps. Dylan Gray, unfortunately, retiring from this one. Same for Ben Peterson and Chris Ireland, with Nick Carroll, Daniel Benefield and Alan Dawson out incredibly early in that race. Many varying fortunes here in a very wet Andalusian summer's day. But I tell you what, we're looking forward to potentially having a chat to some of the drivers. And speaking of, right on cue, here's Job Stewart, our overall winner for the round. First round back, Job, as the reigning champion. It's like you never left.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, it was a pretty good night for me. Just started out, obviously qualifying on pole, which kind of just set the night up. Race 1 had a little bit of competition early from the guys behind, but was managed to pull away a little bit. And then race 2 with the rain just added a whole nother aspect to it. And with the reverse grid too, it was pretty tough to get to the front. But then yeah, just was able to hold on.
Yeah, pretty tough track at the best of times, let alone in wet conditions. What do you think about Navarra? It's a relatively new track to iRacing, and it's proving pretty popular so far.
Yeah, I think it's a great track. Before it came to iRacing, I'd never even heard of it before, but yeah, it's pretty popular amongst the iRacing service. Lots of series use it, and as I was saying in AOG, it actually provides some pretty good racing, and it's good in wet weather too. So yeah, it's a thumbs up for me.
Excellent stuff. And next race, of course, will be in 2 weeks' time at Manicourt. We go all the way over from Spain to France for round 3. And considering your pace advantage over the field in this round, are you expecting more of the same in a fortnight's time?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think the setup I had was pretty strong at this track, so I'll just have to do some laps and see how we're going for the next one. But yeah, it's a great way to start the season after unfortunately missing round 1.
Yeah, indeed. Well, big thanks for joining us, Job. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for your success tonight before we let you go?
Yeah, just a big thanks to all the Synergy Sim Racing guys. Worked pretty hard in the V8s and in the Porsche as well. So yeah, thanks to those guys.
Brilliant stuff from Job Stewart, winner of round 2 here at Circuito de Navarra. We are going to bring in as well, for Brady's pleasure, Ryan Jones winning the Pro-Am class for tonight, finishing 4th overall in race 2.
Yeah, Ryan Jones, first off, congratulations, mate. A fantastic effort for you tonight. Qualified in 15th up to 10th in race 1 and then finishing 4th overall in race 2. Tell us about your night.
Oh, look, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I had the rain pegged since the season was announced as something I could probably contend top 5 outright for. I don't know, for whatever reason, the rain clicks for me. So I was, just trying to put myself in a good spot for that at the end of race 2. And as it happened, it came for the start of race 2, which is good. It's great that timeline weather has like variance, so people can't fully practice. And just bit bummed about the safety car. I think I might have had a shot at 3rd if field didn't get bunched up. But just bloody good race.
I've never turned a lap around Navarra before. Never joined a server here before tonight. What were your thoughts on the track, and also with the wet weather, how much did that change the track as well throughout that 26 lap race in race 2?
I'm not a huge fan of the track. I think I was looking at data before the race of Dyson to compare why he was 7 tenths quicker than me in the last half of the lap. I can't get last half lap right, but in the way it seems to sort of even out for me, which is nice. As soon as the rain comes, it's just a case of trying to stay away from the racing line as much as you can, and it changes the course so much because you're doing different things everywhere, and it sort of seems to change a little bit lap to lap as well. So it's a good challenge, and it's just a lot of fun. Hard to pass though.
Yeah, we did sort of notice that it was a little bit hard to pass for a few drivers, and Reece said he's done a race here too, and he showed a little bit as well, but round number 3 and 2 weeks time we head to Magny-Cours. I've only driven there once in the V8, so completely different car to the Porsche Cup car, but what are you expecting for that race in 2 weeks time?
No idea. I can't remember the last time I did a race at Magny-Cours. They'll probably start practicing the night before the race like I did this week.
Perfect.
We'll see how we go. I'm just waiting for the full wet round later in the year. I'm pretty keen for that one.
Yeah, so Ryan. Lastly, congratulations once again on your results tonight. Before I let you go, who would you like to thank they got this done for you?
Big shout out to the boys at DPR, especially Darso and Chris jumping in tonight. Didn't quite go their way, unfortunately. And NP Design, Southwell Lifts and Hoist, and Max Mechanical. And you guys put on a broadcast. It's not easy, and you have to put up with Jay. That's payback for last round, Jay.
Yep.
Cheers, boys, and see you next round.
Hopefully, we do talk to you.
Shout out, Mum, number 1 supporter. Can't forget.
Of course, can't forget, Mum. Thanks, Ryan. Hopefully, we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
It looks like, Reece, we haven't quite got Adam Jepson in for a chat, who was our AM class winner. But, Reece, I believe you caught up with podium getter in race number 2, Tyson Broad.
Yep, I have indeed. Tyson, a really good race 2 from you. You struggled a little bit in race 1 in the dry, but those wet conditions seem to really favour you.
Yeah, I can always count on my real-life karting experience in the wet in order to help. Just around the dry around here, I was basically complaining all week leading up in terms of this place.
Yeah.
Just brief disconnect there. Just don't really like the place in the dry. But seems as though I'm quite strong in the wet. So that seemed to really help me in race 2 there.
It was a pretty hefty battle with your teammate Harrison Lillis at the very end of race 2 there. Obviously no team orders at drop there.
No, not really. If I had realised my pace compared to Boylet a little earlier, I probably would have asked Harry to let me go and swap back at the end if I didn't get by Boylet. But it was just probably asked for a little too late. But it's always fun to race teammates and all that. Without team orders and small mistake from him on the final lap enabled me to get the podium today. But good drive for him as well in both races.
Yeah, indeed it was. Are you hoping for better performance in the dry next week at Manicore?
Yeah, last time we went there in Season 7, unfortunately it wasn't broadcasted, but I almost got an outright win there last time out. So, yeah, I'm hoping for some strong pace there this time out.
Excellent stuff. Well, before we let you go, Tyson, anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, mainly just boys at Drop Bear for the ongoing support. Obviously, having Harrison with me tonight was a huge help in terms of, yeah, just extra motivation and all that. And all our team partners, Cozy Engineering Solutions, Hyper Racing Simulators, Revolution Race Gear, and Bowler Media, and AOG for putting on the event, SimSpeed for broadcasting, and the other competitors for great racing.
Excellent stuff from Tyson Broad joining us there. And finally, Brady, it looks like our AM class winner, Adam Jepson, has joined us.
We do. Adam, congratulations on your AM class win. Talk us through it all. It looked pretty crazy out there.
Survived the rain. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it was pretty wild there in the second race with the rain. New track. I've never turned a lap here or even joined us over at this track. How did you find Navarra, and especially in the rain in race number 2?
I didn't actually mind the rain. I did a 2-hour enduro here 2 weeks ago, so I was very familiar with the nature of the track, the bumps and all of that. And I don't think I'll be rushing back here. It's very just, you never get a break. So in the rain, I think it kind of slowed it down a little bit more and made it a bit more like you had to concentrate. So yeah, I didn't mind the second race.
Yeah, we thought the same too. Certainly turned on the action in race number 2. But in 2 weeks, we head to Magny Core for race number 3. Unsure on the weather at the moment, but are you looking forward to that race at all?
Yeah, I think so. It should be a more flowing track, I think. So hopefully we'll get a bit better racing. We can actually go kind of pass and make maneuvers where it's not just going to be nose to tail, bumper to bumper sort of stuff.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed Magny Core in the one race I've done there. In a V8 though, so fairly different car. So looking forward to that one in 2 weeks' time. But before I let you go, Adam, congratulations once again, your AM class victory here tonight at Navarra. Is there anyone you would like to thank?
Just the boys over in the Blue Belt team. Thanks, boys.
There's Adam Jepson, our AM class winner here tonight at Navarra race. We head to France. Second in Neves Magny Core on August 20 on a Tuesday night. Once again, 2 weeks' time. I'm looking forward to it. Very technical track, that last little chicane. Probably going to cause some headaches for a few drivers.
Yeah, to say nothing of the opening corners, which are incredibly fast. Manicore is actually one of my favorite circuits of all time. I think it's massively underrated, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the field try and negotiate this challenging French circuit, most famous for being the host of the French Grand Prix from the early 1990s all the way up to 2008. We hope you can join us on the 20th of August for that, and there'll be plenty more to come on SimSpeed TV this week. Besides, we want to thank you all very much for joining us, whether you come from YouTube, Facebook, Twitch or Kick. Have a very good rest of your evening or morning, wherever you may be in the world. I'm Reese Gardner. It's Brady Baldwin with me alongside in the commentary box, and Jake Kennedy behind the scenes. Big thanks to the crew at AOG as well as Bowler Media for bringing this series to us, and we'll see you next time.